My name is Rachel, and I play guitar for Indecision, and we're here at Tsunami Fest.
I'm Steve, and I play bass for Indecision, and we're here in this 3-day Tsunami Fest.
Great. Now, all the way from Canada, I was telling Rachel to see you guys. Longtime fan, and they're really stoked to see you guys still active. What is the status of the band for those curious to know?
Well, we play, when people offer us shows, we play when we can. Pat, the drummer, and myself both have families, so there's a lot of responsibilities, and everyone's working career jobs, basically. So when we can, we play. And we really enjoy getting out and being able to do this after such a long time and still be doing it in good company, like today.
Sure. Well, you guys were great on stage. Ever athletic as always.
It's a little harder as you get older.
You'll feel it tomorrow, but the age does not show.
Good.
Thank you.
That's more important.
It won't show on camera at least, so that's the important part. I think it's really important that you guys are still around as a band. Your message, all the messages actually that you guys put forth over the years are actually more relevant than ever, it seems. Shed My Skin is my new project. It represents really, coming full circle for me. A lot of family and personal issues over the last number of years prevented me from being involved in hardcore. But now that I'm back, I'm trying to give as much coverage to the bands I love as possible.
That's cool.
Hence why I'm here. Hence why it's called Shed My Skin. So, I guess if I could ask you guys, what kind of stuff have you overcome in recent years, either personally, professionally, that you've had to work through to get to present day?
Since the band broke up, or
significant things that have happened in your lives that you've had to work through, that you've managed to overcome, and you're, I guess, proud of it. It could be an incident, it could be an event, it could be the general coping with.
The biggest thing that's happened to me in the past few years is that I have 2 beautiful daughters, Hallie and Quinn, and they are the greatest things that have happened, and they are the liveliest, most exhausting things that have happened as well. So that's a whole new world. When you have kids, it changes everything, and people say that it's like a cliche, but it's so true.
Yeah.
And so that's been something that's changed everything. But I'm actually, just to bring it back to band stuff, I'm really happy and fortunate that I'm still doing this and doing that, and I'm living those 2 worlds almost.
That's great. Yeah, I remember going to shows in the mid-late 90s and talking to bands about issues and this and that, and no one was talking about having had kids, or also nobody had gray hair.
Everyone was a lot younger then.
Can't say that anymore.
Yeah.
I just hide mine.
You have a black dye that you use?
Oh yeah.
Looks great. You haven't aged a day in years, so the more bands I talk to these days, wherever, it seems as though everyone's got kids and families and stuff.
Not me.
Not you.
I have dogs. I guess for me, the weirdest thing was because after Indecision, then, Bago wasn't with us anymore, but then we did Most Precious Blood, and then did that band for full-time for 6 years. So when we decided to stop touring, we all got sort of burnt out. Things weren't going well. It was just sort of weird adjusting all of a sudden to working a regular job and not being on the road all the time. And it was a hard transition. I went back to school and got my master's, and now I have a regular job. And I was not that regular, but then when we do this, and I'm I miss this, and I miss traveling and being on the road every day, and definitely miss it.
Yeah. Being a parent, it's close to you, obviously. Parent of human children. The breakdown of the family is obvious. It's been happening for decades, and it's never more present than it is now. It's never a more pressing issue than it is now. I was a social worker for many years while being involved in hardcore.
Okay.
So I worked with a lot of single parent families and kids.
Guidance counselor.
Really, actually.
But guidance counselor.
You opened a pretty big can of worms.
Yeah.
You opened a pretty big can of worms in this interview. So the things that you see, so you're obviously aware of this. more than aware of it. What do you feel are some of the, I guess, biggest issues facing the youth today, and I guess ways that you feel are I don't know, legitimate or useful to work through those things as parents, as kids?
I think that communication has broken down in terms of being able to verbally communicate. And it's kind of becoming cliche, and when it becomes cliche, people forget. But only texting, posting on Facebook, whatever it may be, is impersonal, even though you're communicating. So if you can't verbally communicate, you can't gauge the reaction of anybody else, so then your communication is not fluid. I mean, that's one of the most glaring issues. And I think for families, everyone's pushed, and it may, for the U.S., everyone's under so much pressure, and the media wants to say, oh no, the stock market's going up, but none of us own stocks. Like, regular people don't have that.
Yeah.
And so that's not a good gauge of what's going on, and people are being pushed to their limit, financially, emotionally, whatever, and people are snapping more and more. So that has to be addressed, but it takes a big groundswell to address that.
Yeah. Having worked in public schools for years, I eventually left that industry, that field, if you want to call it, because I felt the nonprofit world was just as corrupt as the corporate sector. So I've worked in both. I love working with the kids and everything, but the kids need a multi-pronged approach. The school's got to be on board. The doctors can't be pumping drugs into them. The courts can't be pressuring the parents to give the kids the drugs the doctors prescribe for the kids to stay in school. So, I mean, do you feel that there is any kind of a silver lining, or there is hope for kids to not be these drugged out, neglected, I guess iPad-raised, orphans that it seems like so many kids have become?
It's a very serious conversation.
I know.
I think it takes individuals to make those choices, and no, I don't foresee there being a huge changeover. I don't know where a groundswell would come from that would do that. I can't foresee it. And I will say though, let me try to encapsulate. Sure. In the U.S., and I don't know, in New York, I don't know for Canada, there has been a big change in education where they believe that everyone should be serviced where they are, sort of. But we also have to hold parents and children accountable for violent, destructive behavior. And I think we've stopped telling people that they're flat out wrong when they do the wrong thing. And I think it's important that if you do an obviously wrong thing, you're able to be told that you're wrong. And I think we've become so pandering to so many people because you're afraid of whatever it may be, that people don't tell. That is the wrong thing to do. You cannot do that.
Yeah. Those are, wise words. It's, some parents might consider that harsh, but saying no is, it leads you
into life.
Yeah.
When a girl says no to you when you're 18, you need to know to not do it.
Yeah.
And it'll be a problem with people who haven't been conditioned to hear no and accept it.
Yeah. Well, my old magazine was called Hard Times. I've ever seen anything on there, but I talked about a lot of real social and political issues. That's what it was pretty much, based around. And, these are of concern to me because I don't sit and watch Breaking Bad from morning till night. I'm in real life, real life affects me, something that affects everybody, and I don't get lost in things. I try to cope and survive and, struggle through things just to get through, and that's why these things, in case you're wondering why it's so serious, these things are of concern to me. I think people can maybe learn a thing or two because you guys are, deep people, obviously, to produce this kind of music and to be involved in the scene. So that's what I'm trying to get to the bottom of, Yeah. Is your work calling?
No.
Okay. One of your dogs presses
No.
the emergency button. Owner, Rachel.
We need you. Feed us.
Yeah.
Where's our Kongs?
Yeah. So how is life with your dogs?
It's very nice. We go for walks. I'm actually I do a lot of work with shelter animals.
It's amazing.
I volunteer at a shelter. I take their pictures for Pet Finder and go walk dogs and try and help sometimes to find homes. But it gets really depressing, and I have to keep it at a distance because I can get so involved, and then dogs that I love get put to sleep, and I couldn't do anything about it. So I try and keep a better distance now so that I don't get super depressed and because it's the whole dog rescue world can be really crazy too.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, I love it. Love my dogs.
I've actually done a lot of volunteer work on the digital end for a dog adoption agency in Montreal called the Underdog Club.
Oh, cool.
And it's basically...
Isn't one of the guys from, I can't remember the name, Fred, good memory. I saw Fred 2 days ago Okay.
at the Fish and Tongue show. It's not Fred, but Fred is definitely involved
Okay, yeah.
in a dog,
Yeah, okay, because I know he has 2 pit bulls.
Yes.
So.
Good memory. Yeah, Fred's doing good.
I'm good at remembering dog stuff.
Sure. There you go.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess, what could you offer your dog owners out there? Because so many dogs are just tossed out, moving day and stuff like this. Any kind of advice you have from an experienced, dog owner and, volunteer to maybe someone who's a little bit less experienced with dogs, but who still loves them?
If you decide to get a dog, just realize that you should be thinking of keeping that dog for its entire life. Don't think that, I can have this dog for a little while, and then if I don't want it, or if I'm moving, I can always, do something else with it, or bring it to a shelter, because most dogs, especially pit bulls who end up in shelters, a lot of them get put to sleep. So don't think that, you can just bring your dog to a shelter and it's necessarily going to be fine and find another home, because they're horrible places, and the dogs don't act like themselves, and that's just the most important thing to understand, that if you get that dog, you be prepared that it's like your child, and you don't, if you're a good parent, you don't go and leave your child, decide you don't want your child anymore and leave it. So.
Right. Okay, cool. Any other causes that you guys want to, I guess, put a little word for, advocate for? I'm going to stop with the difficult questions. Well, they aren't difficult for you guys, obviously. You're able to reflect on them.
We just weren't prepared. I wasn't prepared.
Because of our locale, I will just interject.
Yeah.
Where we are in Pennsylvania right now is a highly depressed area. And I know this because my parents live about 45 minutes north of here. And they're old coal mining towns, and there are people, despite what you see anywhere else, big cities, whatever, there are people who can't get through the month with a full stock of toilet paper. There are people who can't get through the month right here in Pennsylvania, in the U.S., who need help because they can't get food, and they go buy a lottery ticket to buy food. And so and nobody will show you that on mainstream media, but there are people suffering more than anything right here. And just because where I'm standing, it seems appropriate.
Mm-hmm. Okay. We talk for hours more. I won't keep you guys any longer. I know you're getting a little cold. I was going to offer you my sweatshirt. But I do thank you guys for your time. It's been a pleasure speaking with you both.
Thank you.
And I wish all the best with the band and in life.
Thank you.
And this will be online within about a month or so.
Awesome.
When the magazine launches, my new one. I've been out of the loop for about 3.5, 4 years. So I'd only come back if I was going to come back, full dedication. And so love traveling. And so here I am. Thanks again for your time, guys.
Thank you.
What's next for Indecision? And that's it.
London.
Yes,
We
one
play
show in
London
London.
in a month,
Sweet.
and then we'll see what comes.
Next year or something, maybe. Maybe we'll try and actually get around to writing something, but
That'd be cool.
it seems difficult to get a certain person to concentrate on that.
Okay, no names. And personal question, Most Precious Blood.
Mm-hmm.
What's the status of that? And the last album?
Limbo. We have our drummer's in Australia because he got married to a girl who was from there, and they were here for a while, and then they moved back there. And our bass player lives in Atlanta, is now some big wedding photographer. So every weekend he's off shooting weddings somewhere in the country or out of the country. So it's just me, Justin, and Rob are technically close together, but we don't want to get two people to fill in. So if our drummer comes back from Australia to visit, we will probably try and play a show.
Cool. Well,
Just can't say when that is.
I hope to see both bands at some point again soon. The sun's telling us that we're done. So
Okay.
we're done. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.